Well, I take this opportunity, I don't want to get into debate, but I'd like to point out that the school resource officers were not funded until I took office, and I was the first mayor to fund the school resource officers. Based on a recommendation from then Chief Rilling, but was not funded by the previous administration. So I funded those positions and put the school resource officers in. Ended that debate. Look, I saw some comments coming out from the other side. I understand high-ranking officials will come in and support both sides of the aisle, and somebody said that we like to make Norwalk a blue city rather than a red city. And quite honestly, my only concern is to continue to make Norwalk a great city. That's the most important thing, not blue or red. What I'd like to do and continue to do is to, Harry mentioned about, we do have a great early childhood program. I was first mayor to appoint an early childhood coordinator from the mayor's office, working with the Board of Ed. We've expanded early childhood programs and are working with Norwalk Acts to expand them even more. But that's one of the primary goals. The chief is right, Harry is right. I guess he can still call me mayor. I got to remember not to call him chief all the time anymore. But he was a good chief. Never take that away from him. But we need to ensure, and that is one of my prime goals, is early childhood education. The stats say that if a child is not up to par by the 3rd grade, you spend the rest of his educational career trying to have him catch up. And for every dollar you spend on a child that is up to grade, you spend 17 on those you're trying to remediate. So early childhood education, the expansion of early childhood programs, a solid measurement focus, so we know we can measure the improvement as the children go through this early childhood, as they go from 3 years old and 4 years old up to the 4th or 5th grade, and we continue. We currently have a project with the Board of Ed. It's called Brighter Futures, where some high school kids actually take college courses while they're still at, and it's Norwalk community, still in high school. So we're talking about our future, and all of the employers in the state will tell you that the lack of qualified people is hurting the state, in addition to a lot of other reasons. So that's where I want to concentrate the most. Early childhood, educational development, Common Core. The Common Core standards have been established. This administration has funded over $2 million in capital for this year for Common Core, and there's additional state funds that can come through that we can utilize for the implementation of Common Core, which Dr. Rivera has picked up and has been running with it. If we look outside the educational system, as I said, I want to add more police officers to the street. I would also like to continue our public safety with the schools, to continue improvements in public safety for our kids in the schools. There are some things we've done. There are other things that we can't tell you what we've done. But it's going to take a sizable investment. But our kids' safety is worth it. But it's going to take some time and multi-million dollars to do some of the things we have to do. For instance, changing all the locks in the schools. Most of the schools now all of them lock from the outside, the doors, because in the old days they didn't want the kids locking the teachers out. Now we have to change all those locks so the teachers can lock down. We have to provide blinds for all the windows so people can't look in. This is another area that I'm very concerned about. We will continue to make improvement in our finances. We will continue to work hard in our public, our DPW, our Parks and Rec. But my next 2 years, when I'm mayor, again, I want to concentrate on the kids, from their education, early childhood, to their safety. There is no more important job an elected official has than to take care of the young people, whether they're your kids, your grandkids, your nieces or your nephews, or just any kids you know in your neighborhood. That's my goal.
Perfect. 20 seconds left. Thank you.
Wait a minute.
Well, obviously, as the former police chief, I have a vested interest in keeping our children safe. I have a vested interest in keeping the entire city safe. And I think we did a pretty doggone good job of it. I think we've got a wonderful police department of dedicated men and women who put their lives on the line every single day. And yes, we do need to keep our children safe. We need to work on early intervention programs. I believe a universal pre-K program would be something that Norwalk should really explore. And you do that by working with Dr. Rivera. He's come in, He is a man of achievement, a man who knows what Norwalk school systems need. He's hit the ground running, and we give him all the support that we can give him so that he can do his job, not so that he decides that he's not getting the support and he leaves. You know, we've lost so many superintendents in the past couple of years. It's amazing. People don't leave because they want to make money someplace else or more money. They leave because they're not getting support. Dr. Marks is a person who brought in $5 million in grants alone. And you can bring in grants. I'm going to start exploring what kinds of grants we can bring in from private foundations, private corporations that have money put aside. What money are we missing out on? So yes, keeping children safe, early intervention programs so that we can have them ready to go to school and they can have an opportunity to graduate high school. But I also figure, you know, we need to start again developing Norwalk in a good fashion. We don't want to, we're being left behind. If you look at Wall Street, you look at Sona, what's happening down in Sona, we're being left behind. People are investing in New Canaan, Darien, Fairfield. So I want to sit down again with those investors and find out why. What's happening? What's happening with the plan? Is the plan still viable? If it's not still viable, let's talk about what is. Let's find out what we can do to continue or to move those projects forward. The other thing I plan on doing, my staff and I are working on a 100-day plan. So we know where we're going in the next 100 days, and we do so with an orderly fashion with priorities. I think the mayor's salary that got a 26% pay raise, I believe. First thing I'm going to do is ask the Common Council to rescind that. In this economy, I thought that was inappropriate. I thought that was not the right thing to do. Sure, you need to have compensation in order to attract good people, but not in this economy when people are out of work. I know Norwalk has a low unemployment rate, and we're blessed with that, but bringing in some of the development that we're bringing in is not going to bring in high-paying jobs and the kind of jobs we want to attract. So I want to make sure that Norwalk starts growing in the right direction. I want to sit down with the stakeholders, and I want to make sure that we can get some financial institution partnerships with the stakeholders and see if we can't get these projects moving forward.
Okay.